What's on your playlist right now?
In my class.
Go to guilty pleasure food.
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Hi, my name is Joanna Regulska. I joined UC Davis in 2015, and I'm currently the Vice Provost and Dean of Global Affairs. I'm also a professor of gender, sexuality, and women's studies. I have been in the field of international education for over 30 years. I'm passionate about advancing UC Davis global engagement through collaborative research, partnerships, and global education for all, by providing 100% of our undergraduate, graduate, and professional students with global learning opportunities that change their lives and our world.
Joanna, welcome to Face to Face.
Thank you, Chancellor, for having me.
Thank you for being here with us. I'm excited to talk with you today about some of our global programs and partnerships and all the things you're doing in global affairs. I want to just start with the mission of global affairs and ask, in global education for all, what does that mean for our students and for our faculty and for UC Davis overall?
So global affairs has grown and expanded, and as a result, and also the world is changing. So our mission also has been evolving. But we want to bring people together. We want to increase understanding. We want to build bridges between different cultures, build partnerships. And the Global Education for All is one of our initiatives to really do exactly that. Increase the understanding, build the partnerships, make sure that all our students, 100%, I don't know if we can achieve 100%, but the dream is to have 100% undergraduate, graduate, and professional students to have access to global learning opportunities.
So the word all is important, right? It implies equity, right? It means everyone has the opportunity here. So how do we make these programs accessible to all of our students?
Well, that's really at the core because we expanded our notion of what the global education means to make sure that this is not only about the study abroad. Study abroad is critical, important. People love to travel and spend time. But not everybody can travel. Not everybody has resources, family circumstances, culture. Our DACA students cannot go, and so forth. So how do we engage and meet students where they are and who they are? So that means, what about doing global learning here in Central Valley? What about doing global learning in Sacramento and Dixon, Woodland, in Bay Area? Sacramento is one of the most diversified cities and growing in diversity. Let's look at the opportunities for students through the internships, through working during the summer. But the same thing is with our research. Students can engage with research with the faculty and gain that international experience. So I think the accessibility in terms of diversity of what kind of things we're doing, and of course funding. Funding is always an issue. So we are very lucky. We just received a grant from one of our donor to support the passport. Because one of the key issues is to help students to overcome that international barrier. And passport, visa, suitcases, those are the most important things. Later on, they can get financial aid and they can move. So we need to think in a very broad terms, how do we access? And for professional students, it will be something else. And for the graduate students, it's about the field work. So thinking about how diversified student body is, and then Latinx students might need something else, and so forth. So building up and really diversifying what we're offering and to whom we're offering and how.
Indeed, that's so important. I want to think about research for a second. As a research university, UC Davis is participating in solving some of our most pressing challenges in society, and we know those challenges are global. Right?
Exactly.
So how do we collaborate with international partners to solve these problems?
So we have numbers of partners. Some partners are just more focused on one faculty or two faculty doing some research. Some partners are much, much broader. We also participate in a consortia, and the two consortia that really are extremely diverse for us, one is the Asia Pacific Rim University, the other is U21. That allows us to build partnerships with other universities or participate in the consortia that the undergraduate, for example, internships are being offered or courses are being offered or other opportunities. So part of it is maximizing how we work with our partners to really make it available to our students. But it could be just only bilateral with one university and the other, and then how our faculty can engage students in the work.
And the collaboration, they're not always research collaborations. Some of our viewers might know the most popular course at UC Davis is our coffee course.
Absolutely.
And some of these international collaborations are important for that. Can you talk about that for a bit?
Sure. So a group of faculty from engineering, and we were actually very much involved, and we supported them, have just recently went to Indonesia. And we created a consortium of 11 other universities in Indonesia to really work with them. So the initiative here emerged, but knowing how Indonesia is important and have some specific brewing and roasting techniques is actually very, very important for us here. So this is an opportunity. We're now talking with the ministries and other opportunities to really have students engaged in the research. And the idea is to get students to Indonesia and actually work in a field with our colleagues in Indonesia. And that's just one example of how we can bring students in.
And it's a great example, a powerful example. Another thing, I'm very proud, we're all very proud that UC Davis is ranked #1 in diversity, inclusiveness, and internationalization. And how do we continue that momentum to maintain that ranking and even go beyond what we're doing now?
Well, that's a really important question, and this is something that we are thinking about it. Where do we want to be in 5 years? And we did a couple things that I hope will help us. One is that using your To Boldly Go plan, we actually created a campus global plan. And now we're seeing where, and we're mapping where we should be moving and how we should be moving in terms of the research, in terms of the education, in terms of the business and partnership with the industry and the communities and so forth. So part of the thing where we always think about internationalization is not one thing. It's comprehensive, what some refer to comprehensive internationalization or persuasive internationalization. So I think that comprehensive approach, moving away from what it used to be internationalization, just students going abroad and international students coming to us. Sustainable Development Goals is one of those things that we did pick up as a very important, because Sustainable Development Goals are not only about what is happening down there, but it's what's happening here locally and how we, as a UC Davis, are engaging. So we did the voluntary university review. In fact, we were, I think, number 2 or 3, third university in the country that we did. And now we're doing the same thing with Sacramento. We're working with the City Council and the City of Sacramento to map Sacramento against this 17 sustainable goals. So there are numbers of different innovative ways that we are using to keep it up and include everybody in it.
And being a leader, that's how you become #1, and that's how you stay #1, right? Being a leader in all these initiatives.
Absolutely. And then, we are leaders in all kind of different ways, because even in our fabulous Global Affairs Office, which I love, and the fabulous staff that we have, we created new positions. Travel security, when pandemic happened, we were ready. A communication team, diverse DEI. We just hired recently DEI officer to think through, to walk the talk, to think through what does it really mean, how we prepare students. So there are all kinds of different ways that we can think about.
Yeah, and my office uses all these services, so thank you. We have a feature that we do in face-to-face. We call it Hot Seat. It's where I ask you some rapid-fire questions, and we're looking for one word or one sentence, or just a very short answer.
Okay.
Are you game?
Sure.
All right, let's try. All right. Favorite place you've traveled for work or vacation?
Well, the place that really stay in my memories is Sofia, which is the major mosque in Istanbul. And I was there at 5 o'clock in the morning, and it was just beautiful. And it stays with me.
Wow, that's a great one. This is not on the list, but how many countries do you think you've visited?
I think I've done probably about 150.
Incredible.
A lot.
That is incredible. Okay. Most unique food you've tried in another country?
Oh, that one is probably in China, trying all kind of different fish and animals and food and the combination. I think probably China was the most different.
There are some unique choices there, right?
Exactly.
So if this was a parallel universe and you weren't working in academia, what would you be doing?
I think I will be working with people from other countries. I just love it. I love this kind of sense of intercultural connections.
Okay, favorite hobby?
Favorite hobby, when I have time, listening to jazz.
That's a great one. And in fact, that's a good segue because my last rapid fire question is, who's on top of your playlist right now?
Oh, John Coltrane with all favorite sayings, Miles Davis, Cassandra Williams.
I did not know we had this much in common, Joanna.
All right. Okay, so then next trip, we're going to the jazz
We got to
club.
go listen to some jazz together. Now it's your turn. You can ask me anything you like.
So I wonder if you would share a little bit from the history, and if you can share maybe one or two examples when you became sort of globally aware.
Well, my first international trip was to my cousin's wedding in Bermuda. So I was a teenager at the time, and that's the first time I was out of the U.S. I know the Caribbean is not that far out of the U.S., but it kind of opened my eyes to different possibilities and different peoples and cultures. And I think later in life, my first professional obligation or responsibility internationally, I was co-chairing a conference in South Korea in my research area in integrated circuits. And that really opened my eyes to the fact that I could collaborate with partners, other colleagues at other universities across the world and make some real progress in my own research. And so I think those were the two experiences that I can think of that would be very impactful for me.
Well, thank you. I think this is what we're trying to do, build these partnerships. Can I have one more question?
Sure.
So we're talking so much these days about changes in the land-grant universities. And obviously the future might look different. And I'm always thinking, okay, so what role can global engagement play? How we can help and assist in those transformations and transitions? Well,
you know, the three-part mission of our university, any public university, any land grant, is research, teaching, and service, right? And the service aspect encompasses some of the things that we do to solve these global problems. So I think as we continue to show the value of our research and teaching expertise in a more global fashion, that's really in keeping with the mission of the Land Grant University, and that's where Davis wants to be.
All right. We'll keep on pushing.
All right. Well, that's all we have for today. Thank you to everyone who's watching, and we will see you next time on Face to Face. Go Ags.